Hello, and welcome back. It's always good to have you. Just want to start off by talking to you for a quick minute. I want to say thank you so much for all the love and support I've been getting. It's obviously growing the channel in a very positive way. I just want to make sure that you check the description below. Make sure you get us on the podcast as well. I know you're getting us on the video, which I appreciate. But I'd like to make sure that you have all options available to you. So I just wanted to say thank you very much. And let's get started. So here we go. All right, now we're back at it. So today is not so much of a breaking news type of day, but I did want to go over a couple of things. So let's get started into it. With that being said, though, like always, whether you're on my podcast or you're watching me on video, I always give you the opportunity to opt out. I'm going to sound the alarm, and this is your chance to leave. If you don't leave, you might get offended, and if you are offended, not sorry. So let's see if you stick around. All right, let's get into it. So the first thing I want to tackle today is obviously nasty Palooza, Speaker Nancy Pelosi. I mean, I can't say any better. Nasty Palooza. That woman, I mean, she's just horrendous. I can't wait for you Californians to finally get rid of her. I mean, I think you guys deserve so much better. I know in other podcasts I say you get what you deserve, but if you don't get rid of this woman this time around, I'm sorry. There's just no way I can feel bad for anybody out there. This should be like no type of hard thinking on this, people. So let's get into it. It's all over Twitter, her coming out and now basically backtracking and going against the liberal supporters for Joe Biden and the rioters. You know, now she's coming out and saying, yeah, they should be arrested. It is lawlessness. So let's play it.
The gentleman on the other side said, where are you when you're talking about violence, this or that? We're there.
You're where? Because you've been nowhere. These are peaceful protests, remember? I mean, you, Biden, Kamala, I mean, you guys are still, making that Minnesota Freedom Fund happen where people are getting released that are murderers and rapists and everything else under the sun. So you're finally there? I can't believe it. But let's check it out.
We support peaceful demonstrations. We participate in them. They are part of the essence of our democracy. That does not include looting, starting fires.
Does not include looting and starting fires. But it's okay to beat up the police and everything else under the sun. So, it's like I said with CNN. CNN's been doing a lot of, I don't want to say backtracking, but actually starting to do a lot more news telling. I don't want to say, not partisan, but they're getting better all of a sudden. I think it's because they're seeing the writing on the wall. Like I've always said that, if Trump wins, these major media outlets are going to have a hell of a time in the press room. I mean, they just are. I mean, and not just that, but I think at this time around that not only are they losing more and more independent-minded thinking people and obviously conservatives, but they're going to lose more liberals. I mean, how could you be lying to them for 8 years? I mean, that's what you're doing here. You've been lying forever. You told them that Clinton was going to win. Clinton didn't win. Then you've been telling them for 4 years that 3 years now, going on 4 years, how bad Trump is. And if Trump wins, then, oh my Lord, you guys obviously suck. This is not your typical. There's been a lot of changes. News outlets are not people's major source for getting the news. TV's just not it no more. And when it comes to digital presence, let's face it. I mean, on my last show, I turned around and called it. I mean, Joe Rogan's a goddamn beast. I mean, that guy came out and he asked for it. He wanted that debate, and no one's going to give it to him. I mean, Trump will do it in a heartbeat, but they can't let Biden off his leash. I mean, that who the fuck knows what that guy will say? I mean, it's crazy. And you know, people have been picking up after I said it. He extended the invitation to the wrong person after the slip up. If you watch my last podcast, listen to my last podcast, or watch my last show, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden both gaffed, and a Harris administration with Joe Biden as president, and then of course, Joe Biden, a Harris Biden administration. So he's basically downplaying himself, and the only fear I have here, besides being sold on a bunch of bullshit, which is what Harris and Biden are really trying to do at this point, is that they're selling you on a ticket that doesn't exist, because it's Kamala all the way. And if you listen to any of my previous podcasts or seen any of my previous shows, I said it, that, originally Harris was propped up by Obama. She failed miserably, last place in like New Hampshire and Iowa, blew through more than $10 million in money to get nowhere. And then she comes out and she calls this guy a racist and a sexual predator. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, with Trump, grabbing some woman's ass and stuff like that, it was bad enough. But supposedly Joe Biden slipped a finger up where he wasn't supposed to. Now, I know you may think it's crude and rude, but let's be honest here, because these guys are pandering for your vote. These are two perverted old men. Like I said in these past shows, this is like round 2 of let's pick the best of the worst. But in this situation here, Biden doesn't have a leg to stand on. If you listen to any of my previous shows, this guy's been publicly lying that I can find since 1987. He doesn't really have this major record to stand on, and anything he has to stand on isn't him, it's Obama. So what do you got? What do you guys want? I mean, the writing's on the wall here. Okay, and we all have to come to terms. And I'm not sitting here, I'm not on the Trump train saying, oh my God, Donald Trump is like the savior. But this is ridiculous. But let's get through this. I want to get through this little video here. This is just absolutely incredible. I said it all along. The Democrats now are turning on each other. There's no party unity. AOC came out. I probably can find it. You guys are seeing it probably all over Twitter, that she's going to push Biden into progressive ways once he's there. And the guy's a puppet. She probably could. Let's face it. She probably could.
Or rioting. They should be prosecuted.
So now the liberal supporters should be prosecuted. Well, goddamn, hasn't Trump been doing that the whole time, or wanting to do that? But these Democrat-run cities and these Democrat DAs aren't having it. So now the Speaker of the House, right, the woman who may, if the election is not settled by January 2021, could be acting president, just turned around and said they need to be prosecuted. What the hell is going on? So now we're like weeks away from the election, and let's prosecute the people who are supporting your candidate. I mean, these guys, I keep saying this, and I will keep saying this till the election is over. I really don't think Joe Biden's running for president. I really think this is just a power play, a game. There's nothing there. Harris and Biden gaff so bad. I mean, they should just learn to shut the fuck up. I mean, someone should just look at them and just say, "Cállate, cállate la boca, por favor, por favor." Shut the fuck up, please. I mean, they're like, seriously, they're like content creators when it comes to politics. They're like the dream, man. You wake up every day, you have this dream, and you have stuff to give. But nasty Palooza here, I mean, now she's even turning on the supporters. But let's finish this.
That is lawlessness. I'm very proud that Joe Biden has presented the clarity of that.
Took him fucking long enough. I mean, shit, he's been running for president all year. It only took him to like the beginning of this month, weeks out from the actual election, to sit there and say, rioting and looting is no fucking good. And you know what? Nancy Pelosi didn't come out. It's all peaceful protests. There's just a sprinkle of bad here and there. But now all of a sudden, because of the fact the rioting and the looting has caused the polls to swing, now they have the audacity to come out against their own people supporting their candidate, going, No, you're wrong. You need to be prosecuted. It's lawlessness. And thank God Joe Biden finally in September said, it's not good that you guys are being bad. Please stop doing it. You're helping Trump. It's fucking unbelievable. This is American politics at its best.
Making a distinction that I don't think our colleagues quite understand, but the American people do.
Bitch, American people have understood since the beginning. Where the fuck have you been? Oh, that's right, trying to get a hairdresser appointment that no one else could get, right?
And a poll released today said that the American people support congressional Democrats over President Trump.
For what? We're talking riots and lawlessness? Seriously. This woman is a blatant liar. I mean, and again, it's hard for me to feel bad for Californians. It really is. This is the system you guys got out there in California. But, you get what you deserve. If you ain't going to get out there and fix this shit, you guys just don't get it. I mean, as of, what was it, yesterday or the day before, whatever it was, even Ben Shapiro, who grew up in California, okay, his wife spent most of her life in California. They're both professionals making money. And what do? They followed Joe Rogan and got the fuck out. What does that say about it? I mean, seriously, at some point, this is going to be like Escape from LA with Snake Plissken. We're just going to put up a fucking border, a wall around California and lock you motherfuckers in. Because that's what it's coming to. Seriously. These guys can now have, different legal terms for sodomy against, minors. You can steal up to $1,000 before, without the police getting involved. These guys got some very strange fucking laws out there that, just don't fucking make sense. You guys got rolling blackouts, shit in the streets, highest cost of water. I mean, what is wrong with you guys? And don't sit there and say you're doing it for the people, because the people ain't living that fucking good. Okay, you live in houses that are so overvalued that people move out to here and they get the same fucking shit for a fraction of the price. And if they were owning millions and millions of dollars in homes, they come out here, they still get the same fucking house for a fraction of the price. I just don't get it. I don't get the people who are stuck there. We're talking people who are like middle class and lower that don't have the means to escape. I feel bad for them. Because what's really happening is this exodus from California, this exodus from New York, it's the rich people or the people who have the means to do it. Everybody else is going to get stuck. So if you want to continue to see rioting and looting because people aren't going to have anything, people are taking their jobs. Ben Shapiro took his 75 plus jobs that he had literally in California, is taking them to Tennessee, Nashville to be specific. I mean, yes, 75 doesn't seem a lot. Elon Musk is moving out. I mean, so many people with the means are moving out, and California is already broke. If you don't see the writing on the wall, people, there's a problem. And it's not going to turn around and be, oh, well, it's the people who less fault. No, it's the Democratic policies out there, the Democratic Party's policies out there that have been driving this for fucking decades. And none of you people decided to turn around and actually put a little checks and balances in your own system to make sure not one party had the right to rule for so long and do this stupid shit. And then you turn around and you put Gavin Newsom as fucking governor, which is Nancy Pelosi's relative, and you fucking wonder why it's a fucking scumbag state. I'm just saying. I mean, seriously. And the best part about all this is with the rich people leaving or the people who have means leaving, when Congress is redrawn because the seats go by population, when the population declines, you don't have that much power in Congress no more, which is a wonderful fucking thing, because I don't understand why I have to be subject to people like fucking nasty Palooza over here, thinking that she's going to run the whole country like she runs California. I mean, obviously, this is like unbelievable. I'm not saying she runs California, but let me just be face it. She's a California Democrat, right? I mean, seriously, most of your California Democrats are fucking scumbags. So let's just move on, because that's why I'm glad to be independent, because I can turn around and say Trump's a scumbag for the shit that he does. It don't matter to me. I get the best of both sides. So, but let's continue on. So now I want to get into the segment. Now Michelle Obama, who was a victim of depression, blah blah blah. Now she comes out, and here we go, right? Michelle Obama, we could never get away with what the Trump White House does. I don't think Trump gets away with a lot because they call that guy can wake up on the left side of the bed versus the right side of the bed. It's news, and there's a court appearance for it, right? They're trying to sue him over it. They're trying to stop him. Can't wake up on the other side of the bed. So this right here, I'm calling bullshit, straight up. Okay, I don't care what anyone says when it comes to this. We didn't call out on Obama on a lot of things. Right? Fast and Furious, a whole bunch of stuff. He did not get half the gripe that he did. No, weaponizing the IRS against another political party. I mean, seriously, people, I'm getting tired of the fucking nonsense. And I'm not sitting here going to be PC about this. Let's face it. If we were to turn around and criticize someone of African-American nature who was the first African-American president, and they would be like, oh, all these white people are racist because this guy's black. You know what? It's called fucking the policies that he did. Okay? With Fast and Furious, people dying. I mean, seriously. So don't want to hear no bullshit and no nonsense on this. When Michelle Obama wants to come out, I mean, this is just her making noise and keeping relevant. This is just, that's all I look at. This is her depression. I think she needs to take some more medication because that's what it really comes down to, right? I mean, she's over here, oh my God, we can never do this. This is just all bullshit. Don't tell me that there's a president who didn't get away with shit. There's been plenty of presidents who got away with a lot of shit. I mean, look at fucking Clinton, right? He paid off more fucking women so that he wouldn't have to face rape allegations and everything else under the sun, right? Than anybody else. I mean, seriously. I mean, we know Kennedy was fucking Marilyn Monroe, but I mean, come on. I mean, this is totally different. I mean, the both Bushes did some shady shit. We all know it. Every president is not squeaky clean. We get it. But for her to come out and claim victimhood for her husband and herself, that they couldn't listen. These guys got away with enough shit, and these guys are still profiting from it. So I don't want to hear it. And we know you guys are not squeaky clean because Eric Holder ran to Obama to get protection from some of the shit that he did too, so that it wouldn't go back to Obama. So I don't want to hear this nonsense. I don't need to see it. So when it comes to this, I just think she needs to go away. Stay in retirement because that's all you're good for. Go see your therapist, get some more medication. So let's move on again. So next one is, and this is CNN, by the way. I'm not saying I'm a fan. I'm not turning my leaf over just yet, but CNN is getting better. So fact check: Biden ad misleadingly suggests Trump called COVID-19 a hoax. That's all this is a play for words, people. This is just to get you riled up, get you emotional, keep you emotional, so that you'll vote their way. This is all this is. And don't get me wrong, Republicans do it very well too. But the thing here is you just need to step back. You need to read some stuff. And like I said, for me to sit there and say, look, it's CNN. I mean, that's a big step. I walked away from CNN for a long time. I mean, I still was watching them, but mostly for entertainment purposes, because I didn't believe half the shit they were coming out of their mouth because they were so biased. It's not even funny. So it's good to see that coming back. I'm glad to see that they're actually doing that, coming around. So it says, during his campaign's highest week of ad spending, Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden tweeted out an ad Tuesday attacking President Donald Trump for comments he made over the pandemic, specifically the ad suggesting that Trump has called the virus a hoax. So I'm glad CNN finally came out there and called him out on this. It's very refreshing to see CNN turning a leaf over. Again, I think it's because of, more biased reasons, that if they don't turn around and start doing better, they're going to be screwed. They're going to be screwed in the White House. No one's going to believe them. They're going to lose more viewership because of the fact that everything that they say doesn't come to light. So it's good to see them actually getting back to what I would call journalism, at least in this case, fact checking. So my favorite person to roast these days is Kamala Harris, right? And this is just, she's just a horrible human being as far as I'm concerned. She's done some real shady shit. I mean, she keeps, inmates locked up longer to use them for cheap labor. She keeps innocent people on death row. She just does a lot of stupid shit. And these aren't talking points. These are just facts. So anyone who wants to sit there and say, oh, he's giving Republican talking points. No, they're not talking points if those points are actually facts. That's a bottom line right there, too. And if you don't like that, you can, switch to another channel. So let's get into it. So this was good. So one of the biggest dilemmas for any of us as parents is what to do with our kids in school. We want them to go back to school. So listen how she says this, right? Listen how she says this. I find this quite disturbing.
And one of the biggest dilemmas for any of us as a parent is what to do about our kids in school. K through 12, college, all of that. And we all want them to go back to school.
Okay, fine. You all want them to go back to school, but obviously you want it so goddamn bad that it's either laugh or cry, right? So I don't know what that says about your relationship with your children, because here we are looking today, and this is NBC News as of today, 11:50 Central Time. So just before noon, a Massachusetts high school student went to in-person classes on the first day of school despite having tested positive for coronavirus days earlier, officials said. Now, about 30 people who came into contact with the student are under a 2-week quarantine. And I'm not going to obviously go out there and just throw this out there. You can read the article. It's there. But it's just sad. I understand kids need to go back to school, and, Biden and Kamala, oh, well, the federal government should have this, that, and the other thing. Education is different regionally, because not every city, every area is an urban city area. Not every place is the suburbs. I mean, people go to school differently in different parts of this country. So there is not a one shoe fits all solution here, even though they like to talk like they can solve all the problems. Government doesn't solve all the problems. A lot of times government creates more problems. That's just the truth of it. So here, okay, and I've said this from the beginning, I think cities and towns and whatever need to do what's best for their scenario. I understand parents need to get back to work. I understand there's a problem with, not being able to get childcare and things like that. Listen, it sucks. It's a pandemic. Got it. But, when parents like Kamala Harris want to rush back and bring their kids back into school. And listen, she was happy to say it.
And one of the biggest dilemmas for any of us as a parent is what to do about our kids in school. K through 12, college, all of that. And we all want them to go back to school.
Right? So they've been roasting Trump and roasting everyone for not having any policies in play for putting back our kids to school safely. But what happens when parents will send their kids to school because they don't have an option and they're already infected with the COVID virus? Right? I mean, that's not what I hear coming out of her mouth. Right? That's not what's coming out of her mouth. She's just happy to get them back in school. Again, there's no overnight solution for this problem, and I get it, and people are suffering, and understandably. But when was it okay to put our children in harm's way? And don't get me wrong, there are families out there suffering because they don't have jobs and they don't have money. Well, when it comes down to you getting money and not seeing any stimulus being offered up by Congress, I'm going to have to go with the GOP on this one. The Dems suck because, you know what? Even if you didn't agree to all of what they considered their skinny package, these guys could have agreed to enough to put money in people's pockets so they could survive. And they weren't even willing to do a provisional bill or nothing. It's an all or nothing scenario. And I've said this from the beginning. So in order for Biden to beat Trump, there's a few things that have to happen. The economy has to tank. And Bill Maher said it himself. The economy has to tank, and it should. No, and to get Trump out, maybe it should. So thank you, Bill Maher. Okay. And two, when it comes to this, Trump was running on law and order, right? So law and order, if the riots continue, which they're getting more under control now since Trump has federalized different agencies, and now instead of these district DAs and state DAs prosecuting this, they're now federal. So Trump's winning there now. Okay, and the other thing is COVID. COVID needs to be so rampant and what have you. So when it comes to the economy is getting better. I mean, let's face it, it is getting better. We're not as bad as we could have been. Yes, there are still families suffering, and I think the Democrats, if they were the party of the people, should have came across and said, okay, we can't agree to all this, but the families out there still need money. And you know what? It's a political ploy. So if you're out there suffering and you can research this, they could have done a provisional bill. These two sides could have came together, done a provisional bill. They're not. So you know what? If you don't like it, vote them all the hell out. But the problem we're having here is everything is being politicized and is being used against you in order to get you to vote one way or the other. So you need to take a minute to stop and think about that. So with everything being said, thank you. I know it wasn't a big news day. It's little things, though, that matter to add up over time that give some perspective to things that happen in the future. I want to thank you all again for joining me. Again, make sure you check the descriptions below. I'm going to have links to other forms of media that I use for you. And I'll see you next time.